A 7 billion parameter language model running in 2 gigabytes of RAM. On a laptop. No cloud, no swap, no lies. The math says it's impossible. 32-bit floats mean each parameter needs 4 bytes. 7 billion times 4 is 28 gigabytes. Your MacBook Air has 8 or 16. And it gets worse. Gemma 426. B. A mixture of experts model with real routing needs minimum 9 gigs even with 4-bit weights. 18 gigs for 4-bit, 28 for 8-bit. The 2 gig claim was marketing fiction. But the technique is real, 2-bit quantization plus memory mapping. And it works on the model that actually fits. Gemma 27B, 7.5 billion parameters, instruction-tuned, Apache 2.0 license. Google DeepMind released it in June 2024. Here's how you break physics. First, crush the weights from 32 bits down to 2. Second, never load them all, page them in on demand. The entire model never enters RAM at once. Full precision, every number is a 32-bit float. 1 weight, 4 bytes. 7.5 billion of them. The file weighs 28 gigabytes. 2-bit quantization throws away 30 bits. Each weight becomes 2 bits. 0, 1, 2, or 3. 16 weights pack into 1 4-byte word. Compression ratio, 16 to 1. Here's the code. Every weight quantizes to 0 through 3. Pack 16 of them into a 32-bit integer. The file shrinks to 1.75 gigs. But throwing away bits destroys precision. Full precision perplexity on Wikitext 2, 8.2. 2-bit perplexity, 12.6. That's 54% worse. The quantized file is 1.75 gigs, but it's dumber. Perplexity measures how surprised the model is by real text. Lower is better. 8.2 means the model predicts well. 12.6 means it's guessing more. The distribution spreads out, but it still runs, and for many tasks, the quality loss is acceptable. Now the second move, memory mapping. The mmap syscall maps a file directly into your address space. No read call, no copy into a buffer. The file becomes part of your virtual memory. On M-series chips, pages are 16 kilobytes instead of the usual 4K. When you access a weight for the first time, the CPU triggers a page fault. The memory management unit traps to the kernel. The kernel reads 16K from disk into a physical page, updates the page table, and lets you continue. Only the pages you actually touch enter RAM. The rest stay on disk. The operating system tracks which 16K chunks are resident and which are still in the file. Inference might only need 10% of the weights for a given prompt. vmmap shows the file mapped into the process. 1.75 gigs in the virtual address space, but resident set size is only 200 meg. The operating system hasn't loaded the rest. The vmmap tool on macOS lets you inspect exactly which regions are resident versus swapped or unmapped. Inference touches a fraction of the model each forward pass. Attention layers scan their weight matrices, but the access pattern is sparse. Maybe 10% of the weights get paged in. Multi-layer perceptrons and embeddings add to the working set, but selectively. Peak memory during generation, 2.1 gigs. That includes the KV cache for context, activation tensors, and the working set of quantized weights currently resident. The cache grows with sequence length, but the weight footprint stays bounded. And it answers. Slower than full precision, rougher around the edges, but it runs on a base MacBook Air with 8 gigs of unified memory. No GPU cluster, no API latency. But latency tells the real story. Every forward pass. Dequantization takes 27 milliseconds. Matrix multiply takes 18. Activation functions add 8 milliseconds. Softmax adds 2. Dequant alone burns almost half the time. Every matrix multiply unpacks 2 bits back into floats. Lookup tables map 0 through 3 to real numbers. Neon SciMD on M-series unpacks 8 weights per instruction. It's fast, but not free. The trade-off is linear. Half precision baseline at 14 gigs. 8-bit cuts, memory by 2 times. 4-bit cuts, memory 4 times. 2-bit cuts, memory 8-fold versus FP16, and latency triples. Tokens per second. Half precision runs at 67. 8-bit manages 54. 4-bit gets you 38. 2-bit lands at 23. 3 times slower, 8 times smaller than FP16. The full pipeline. Quantize the model offline with a calibration dataset. Write the quantized weights to a binary file. At runtime, mmap that file into your address space. Inference begins. Pages fault in on first access. For every layer, dequantize the resident weights back to float 16. Run the matrix multiply. Repeat 32 times through the transformer stack. This unlocks local inference everywhere. No API calls, no round-trip latency to a data center, no rate limits. The model lives on your SSD. The data never leaves the machine. Works offline, in a plane, on a train. Use cases stack up fast. Offline coding assistants that never send your proprietary code anywhere. Private document search over your file system without indexing it in the cloud. Local voice transcription that never sends audio to a server. On-device agents that tool call your desktop APIs and scripts. And NSRE. llama.cpp MLX from Apple. Every local inference runtime uses this pattern. Different quantization schemes, different bit widths, but the same two-part principle. Compress the weights, lazy load the pages. 4-bit is the sweet spot for most people. Half the memory of 8-bit, twice the speed of 2-bit, and perplexity loss you can live with. 2-bit is the frontier. Maximum compression, maximum pain. But it proves the concept. M-series. Macs are uniquely good at this. Unified memory means the GPU reads the same pages the CPU mmapped. No PCIe transfer. 16K pages mean fewer faults. The neural engine can accelerate dequantization in hardware. Apple designed the silicon for exactly this workload. Quick recap. Quantization crushes weights to 2 bits, 16:1 compression. Memory mapping pages them in lazily on demand, so the full model never loads. Dequantization unpacks them per layer, which costs 49% of latency. You get a 7B model in 2 gigs at 1/3 the speed of FP16. The impossible is just expensive, and sometimes expensive is the wrong word. It's patient. The model waits on your SSD, the pages wait in the kernel. The answers wait in 2 bits. Now go run a model that shouldn't fit. It will.